Hello guys, how are you? This is Pano. I want to make a video today about the three axes I've used the most. Actually not the most, one is brand new, this one. I want to help somebody that's in the market for like a bushcraft axe. Which one to pick? It's a hard video to make, to be honest. There's lot of opinions, and so what are we gonna do? I'm gonna just tell you my personal opinion, and then you make up your mind. But what I want to make sure is that you see the differences on those axes. This one here, this is the forest axe from Gransfors Bruk. I have this for a while. A lot of you have this axe or heard about it. I have this for a long time. I don't know, over 10 years. Around 10 years, over 10 years. This is how it looks after it's been used. And this is not a video about people, how they take their little nail and they're scraping it on the axe and they're like, oh, I feel that little divot on the edge. Something wrong with the steel. This is an axe. It's an impact tool. You strike wood with it and you cut wood. It's not microchip. This one here, it's I just bought this. I did little bit modifications on it to my liking. For one, I sand the whole axe to be smooth, because when the axe is smooth, it's also going to be giving you tips on axes. When the axe is smooth and you cannot grab it with your nail easy, the grain of the wood, that means when you're splitting a wood, it does not grab here and rips your axe. So especially in this area here at the front, from here to there, this area at the front, it needs to be sanded very, very well. All this area here. Okay? So when you split, it doesn't have anything to grab to rip your wood. So now if you're thinking, that doesn't happen this way, I gotta use sinew. Look at this axe. It's been used, you can tell from the edge and everything, and it has no rips. This is way smoother than this because it's older wood and it's oiled very good, and it has no rips. I did this one, but it's not as good as this yet. It's gonna get there. It's same handle. It's American hickory. It looks white because it's new. I've used it like maybe 3-4 times, as you can tell. So one thing I did is I sanded it to smoothen the edge. I put one coat of linseed oil, and then I sealed it with a wax treatment that I make and I use on leather and wood tools, based on beeswax and some other materials I make. And I wrap that on the axe, and then take a heat gun for two purposes. One, you harden the wood a little bit, and two, you let it soak in the wax, so then it seals to keep the oil in. The other thing I did is I made a hole here so I can hang the axe when it sits at home. You put it on the nail so your handle stays straight, or you don't want to lean it like this. because it's pushing the wood down where where they hang the axe head. So just hang the axe and that's it. It's not gonna crack the wood or anything. This one has it for years and it didn't do it. So this axe has, I'm not gonna go through specs a lot. I'm not a spec guy. But what I'm gonna tell you is it's 5160 steel. This one is, I'm not sure. They're not really telling you. This is Scandinavian steel, recycled steel maybe. Scandinavian recycled steel. It's good steel. No problems with it. But this one's supposed to be way better. 5160 is a good steel. And then they also hardened the pole on it, which I'm actually have a use for that. And I kind of like that idea. The handle is shorter on the axis between these two. We'll go through the different stuff in a minute. And then we have the Fiskars X17. This is also new. I bought this, when did I buy this? April, I think. When I started on my wood cutting for the season. So I had this axe with me, with the chainsaw, putting wedges in. I had to do also some modifications on it. This is the splitting, x17, the splitting axe, not the cutting axe. I fixed the bevel. I fixed the bevel on it to a convex, and I actually grind it. I cut it a bit, did like that, and I made it better for cutting. And I've used it couple days in the woods. I cut all my firewood for the day for it. Cut and split. It holds up, the edge holds up very good. It's sharp. You see these little dings? Okay, I don't want anybody complaining about stuff like that on an axe. Just sharpen it whenever you're done with it and carry on. This one here is something I don't like. What happens with it. I also grind this down because this would split. It was all like that, raised here, and you would want to put in a stake and it would split the stake. I don't like that, so I made it flat. Now this could be a problem because if it's only been used for a few months, the question is how well it would hold. Now I picked the splitting axe for that reason, so it doesn't rip this part of the axe, of the plastic, because it does happen. I'll show you on my other axe. 1 second. It's a different brand, but you can see it. You can see it ripping. Shaking the camera, Ranger. You can see it ripping. This I have for a little bit over a year. I split a lot of wood with that. But you see that the plastic is what rips off with the wood grain going in. This one didn't do anything. The way I bought it, I've been using it. I've actually been also abusing it a little bit. I wanted to see how well those plastic axes are, holding up. Now, let's compare. Not compare. I don't want to compare. I want to show you the differences. Okay, let's put this aside for a minute. Okay, here. are the two axes. So one has a wider here where the hammer where the hammer is supposed to be. Now, which one is thinner? They're almost the same. No, this one is thicker. You see it? And it's longer. They're about the same weight, close to 2 pounds. This one is heavier. Now, from all these three axes, this one splits the best, obviously. Not that this doesn't split good, it splits really good so far. And this is also not a bad splitting axe. But the thing with this is, when you're splitting with a thin axe like that, or let's say a falling axe or any axe like that's not an actual splitting axe, you gotta hit the wood on the side like this. You don't hit head on. You gotta give it on the side. And when you give it a little flick, it would turn on its side. So it would flick the wood. I'll show you, but this is the theory. You don't hit straight forward with a thin axe like this. Gotta go a little bit on the angle. When they have a wedge like this big, you don't want to do it on the angle, because especially this axe is tipped forward. So the weight is tipped forward. So when you're chopping with this axe, it constantly wants to turn forward, right? So same thing when you're trying to split, might as well keep it. If you bought a splitting axe, use it straight split, and it's gonna do the trick. When your axe is kind of a multi-purpose, like these ones, the forest axes, go a little bit on the side. Same with this. Now, if I had to pick one, is the problem. Which one should I pick? This is what we want to find out. So for one, if I want to pick one axe to be in the woods and for long term, or I would not pick this for one reason. I haven't tested, here it's really cold up north. I haven't tested this handle on -40. I'm looking at videos of people talking about this axe, and none of them inspires me confidence that they know what they're talking about when it comes to many things. But since I haven't tried this in a cold weather to see if that plastic is gonna break, I know it's not gonna break when it's up to December, when it's like -25 Celsius. But I don't know what's gonna happen when it gets colder than that. Now, you're gonna say, well, when it's colder than that, why you wanna split wood? But what if I have to? And what if I wanna go ice fishing and I take this and I wanna chip some ice, and I end up breaking the handle, and then I'm end up with no axe? So that's why. And seeing that plastic deteriorating like that already after splitting one full cord of wood, not face cord, I don't know. Makes me think, and I don't want to think. Well, you could also break these. But now, as many people say, you can make a handle in the woods. It's not that simple to make a handle in the woods, but it's not impossible to do. If I really need to make a handle, I can. Just here, I would just have to use birch and trying to save the wedges, you know, cut the head and pound it this way. I'm leaning towards this axe now, and the reason I bought this axe is because of the hard pole that this axe has. The hardened pole. And I like how much wider the head is to pound in stakes. It's way wider than this one. And that, to me, that's something I could totally get some use from. And when it comes to the steel, Ranger, you're pushing it, man. When it comes to steel, I haven't had any problems with this. There's people that they do have problems, but they're also very picky, treating the axe like a knife, for example, or even worse than a knife. Now let's put them and see a little bit how they work. Things you really need to know is stuff like this is what's gonna ding your edge, not splitting hardwood. It's those little stumps. You see them on the spruce tree up north. So we're gonna cut one with this, and we're gonna cut the other with the the 5160. This axe has a very good bite. And it's very, bites the wood right away. Because it's not convex, it's like Scandi grind. Now I could also change this to a flat grind if I wanted to. Now, a lot of people buy this axe and they talk about how it has a short handle. They think that 2-pound head should be on a longer handle. They're comparing it with something like this. Now, what are the benefits? When you're using this axe, to me, it feels perfectly balanced with the shorter handle. And it's a handle long enough to use with both hands, you know, when you're chopping, splitting, cutting. This axe balances perfect on its side. And when people put the axe like this to show you the balance, what balance they're supposed to be telling you, they're checking, is where the axe is tipping. Okay? Obviously the axe is gonna balance around the head, because you have 2 pounds according to the length. You're pretty much gonna be near where the axes hang. But what I want to see is which way does it go forward, does it go back? This one, it stays on its side, so when I'm cutting, I don't have to fight rolling the axe, and it would be exactly where I'm aiming at, making me look like I'm a better cutter than what I really am, because I'm not fighting tilt. Now this axe also does it. If anything, it tilts a little bit forward, if anything, but really it doesn't. And I think this is what makes this axe, people liking this axe a lot, and they think it's the best axe ever. I don't like the fact that the handle is that long. I never liked it, because when you're working with this axe, having that little bit more length, it makes a little bit off balance chopping. And the weight of this axe, I think this is the handle that is more proper for it. Now, if you're falling a lot and you're not really gonna work a lot with your axe this way, and now we're being picky, okay? Now we're nitpicking. You could both use them that way, but this one is more comfortable due to the 23-inch handle instead of almost 26-inch handle. I like about this so far that it's straight, more straight of a handle than this. It has a pretty good purchase in the back. Like, you don't feel like your hand is gonna slip. And because I'm right-handed, this is where my left hand always sits. Right here is where my left hand sits. And I did not sand this part at all. I left it gritty. And it feels pretty good. That also feels good. So what an advantage this axe has over this axe is, one, it has more of a flat hole in the back. So hammering 10 stakes, it makes it better. Like, you're not gonna damage the 10 stake or putting a pole in the ground to make a shelter. It's not gonna damage it easy as this one would. It will make it flare out. It's a hardened pole, which I could put nails in without having marking my handle, my axe head. I can cut snare wire with it. I can set the snare wire on this axe and cut it with my knife, with the butt of my knife, like this. I can show you if you want. Okay, actually, I'm gonna show you. All right. Let's pick something like this. Now, hopefully, Ranger won't be so much in our way. Here. So, because the axis doesn't have any, all three chops went in the same spot. Because the axe doesn't have any wobble while we're talking about it. It's the balance of the axe is where you want it, right? You want to see how accurate you could be with it on a knotty piece like that. Splitting kindling. Let's get something bigger. Splitting kindling like that. Doesn't fatigue me when I turn it either way. Okay, be right back. So this is snare wire. Snare wire is a hard steel, stainless steel especially. This is the one, second, maybe third hardest wire you can get for snares. The properties of this is it's supposed to spring back to close the loop. So when you wrap this, it makes the wire glare easy. So it has to be a hard steel, wire. So when we put this wire here, go, and we're trying to cut it, it doesn't really cut it that easy because this is soft steel, right? The knife doesn't even mark, you see? Knife doesn't even mark. That's William Collins knife anyway. They're about 61 to 63 Rockwell hardness. Now, when you hit it with this, because it's a hardened, it just, you see how easy it cut that? Because this is a hard steel. So for me, this is the reason I bought this axe, really. It's the hardened pole, cutting snare wire. And the cut is much better looking than the on the wire than the softer steel, right? So this one doesn't even mark. This one marks a lot. This one didn't even, it just took the color off. So that's a plus. If you say you lost your multi-tool or whatever, and having a hard pole axe, for me in the woods, setting snares, it's a big plus. Hitting 10 stakes. So being a shorter handle. So this is why I think this axe wins as being the woodsman's tool. For these reasons, the hardened pole, the more square, wider head. Sure, I like the relief cut they did here so it doesn't stick on the wood. It makes it also look good. The more straight handle, shorter handle. I really think that I'm gonna be using this axe from now on without knocking the other one out. That is something really wrong with it, and for any other reason, you know, besides the ones I really told you. And I like the square grind, the Scandi grind on the axe. I could also add that to my other axe, but how this handles going in, chopping, it's chopping through the the hard knot here in a confined space, which most of the time this is what you're gonna deal with. And I don't know, so far I like it. I'm gonna go split some wood, see how she splits, and I'm gonna add that to the video too. This is how you split kindling with an axe, by the way. carving. I don't know if you can see. You can see, I think. Not bad. You got some little ones there to get to ignite. And it has a 90-degree spine right here. I would have to make that spine sharper. It's sharp, but not where I want it. Doesn't throw a big amount of sparks. I can make it better, and then it will be a true to throw sparks like this. Like that. Okay. So yeah, just it's almost there, but not quite. I like it. I really like it. It could even stand alone without a knife if you have to, but I always use knives. I don't know what more you want to see. Let's split maybe one more piece and end the video. This is very wet, this wood. All right, that was the reasoning why I choose this. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.